Welcome. You're listening to The Aligned Self, Conversations in Creating a Conscious and Abundant Life. This is Daniel Denovi. I'll be your guide and host. Let's see just where we can take this. Hello, friend, and welcome back to the conversation. Today I have several things I want to talk about, and all of them seem equally important, so I'll start out with number one. I don't know if you've seen it, but the Schuman Resonance, there's a graph that is put out daily. It's actually in real time. I have an app on my iPhone, and at any time, there's something weird going on. We have some cognition issues, energy, body issues, sleep issues. My wife and I check the Schuman Resonance. And typically there's a spike that's going on, and there's been an inordinate number of spikes that have been going on since 2020. More often than not, when those spikes occur, it either interrupts my sleep or my wife asks me what happened on the Schuman last night, and sure enough, it corresponds with something going on in our body. We actually feel the shifts in frequency. Now, over the last couple months, it's been relatively quiet, kind of flatline, stable, until yesterday. According to the information recorded by the sensors that monitor the Schuman Resonance, it has been off the chart. It has never been this way before. So there's a definite shift in Earth frequencies. And when you look at the readout, when you look at the printout, and I posted it in the Aligned Self Podcast listeners group, you can actually see the coherence across the board, across several bands of frequency. So what does this mean? Well, you're probably going to hear several different descriptions, several different opinions, perspectives on this. This is the way I see it, and I actually checked in with my friend Della Rose Ruby Meyer in Australia. She's a psychic channel, astrologer, and she confirms what I feel. As you probably know, there's been a preparing or a shift, a steady shift in frequency, a steady shift in consciousness that has been occurring for the last, actually, 20 years. But more so just since 2020. It really ramped up a notch in 2020. We had the whole pandemic, a lot of different things going on. Everyone could feel it. And then December 21st of 2020, there was the Grand Conjunction, which was another shift in frequency, another shift in consciousness. Now, when I was 28, actually 27, there was the harmonic convergence that occurred on August 8th. That event actually set me up for a huge shift of growth for the next 20 years. It was at that time when I reoriented my entire life. I ended up leaving my wife, or we parted ways, more appropriately, and I met an Indian guru who awoken a spiritual energy within me. And that led to a ramping up of my healing energy and my psychic energy, and it's been upward spiral ever since. It's actually taken me a long time to actually make sense of all those years, and I've kind of navigated by the seat of my pants. I haven't had a guide, haven't had anyone to kind of point the way. And so there's been detours and respites, and it's been interesting. But you get the benefit of all my mistakes. So this event that began yesterday and really ramped up today signals a real shift in consciousness. So what does that mean to you and me? Well, this is my opinion, and I've backed it up with my friend. But what it's saying is that it's preparing us for an even greater shift to come. And this also explains why I've had, a dramatic attraction to dealing with subpersonalities. In fact, 2 months ago, as you probably know, one day I woke up and I said, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to start working with people on case studies on subpersonalities. And so over the last 2 months, I've worked with about a dozen people, and it's been a joy. A joy on one hand because it's been quite a while, actually, since I've been working with people so intimately over a broad period of time on a one-to-one basis. I really missed it. I missed it a lot, and I realized that in doing these case studies. I still have a couple spots open, but that's another story. But I couldn't really explain why I had this pull to do the subpersonalities, why I was being guided by the universe that this was where I was supposed to go right now. And then, why did I start the podcast when I did? I'd been sitting on the fence for probably, 10 years to do a podcast. And it was in an off conversation with my friend Thomas Miller at the time that I said, next month, I'm going to start a podcast. And the very next day, he invited me in to be co-host of his podcast, which I did for 6 months. And through his platform and his tutelage, I actually worked out some of the kinks and was able to step off into my own podcast relatively easily. And that came about from a very intuitive hit that it was time for me to go off on my own, leave home, so to speak. And then, I'm just like looking back on the different events, different urgings, different impulses that I've been following, picking up the breadcrumbs. And then I started off on this podcast talking about intuition, talking about developing intuition, how everyone has access to it, that inner guidance. And then the taglines at the end of every podcast episode: follow your bliss, live from your passion, live from your heart, align yourself with your joy, live from inner signals, be inner directed, following your intuition, be inner guided. And then that this is all an epic adventure. It is the spiritual adventure. We are immersed in the human experience. That is the epic adventure. And then so here we are. This is kind of a roundabout way about me talking about how this shift in energy is going to impact you and me. Well, this energy is preparing us for an even greater expansion. And what we're going to find ourselves doing is being pulled to working with past trauma. Healing the past, childhood wounds, any energy that we're carrying in our body, any toxic energy we're carrying in our body, to work that out, to release it. And so hence, this is why I've been pulled to do the subpersonalities, because this is like shadow work. It's like healing the past. And that realization explains a lot to me. It actually gives me a little more impetus to complete my work here, because I don't typically stay with one genre, one focus for a long period of time, because I'm multi-interested, multi-passionate. But for the near term, I am going to stick with subpersonalities. I'm going to complete the book, and I'm going to announce another thing that's coming up in August around subpersonalities. But back to this energy shift. What is calling for you is to address your wounds, heal your wounds. You can no longer ignore them. You have to face them, acknowledge them, so we can release them. Whether you do that with me or some other teacher, some other mode or method, that's up to you. But what I'd like to do is put the material out there so you can do it on your own. That's one reason why I do this podcast. And that's to provide you with tangible, practical, applicable techniques and strategies that you can use to heal your life, heal your relationships, and move about the world fully self-expressed. And so, as your attention is drawn to healing the past, you're going to be more dependent upon your own inner resources, your own inner guidance in following that through, in healing that aspect. So, you may be pulled to journal more, or in meditation, to actually go through and practice healing meditations, engage in body work or dance, ecstatic dance, or yogic laughter, just standing around laughing and changing the biochemistry of your body. You see, over time, your body has adapted to a particular atmosphere, frequency, biochemistry, a state of being. And more than likely, it's not filled with joy and excitement. That is where you really are. If you think about a child, an unleashed child, the joy and laughter and curiosity and interest that they have, do you have that? If not, you've been trained, or you've trained yourself into living less than you can be. And that's part of my job, part of my mission, is to unleash that within you. Part of that mission was me setting up the Vault, my membership program, which gave you access to the intuition course to develop your own intuition, the High Vibe Life course, which managing your state and frequency, the Extreme Gratitude Project. And when I set up that membership, the Vault, as I called it at the time, several of you got involved. I've been in contact with several of you, but by and large, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was getting myself in for. The platform that I chose, and I won't name them, but the platform that I chose was less than desirable. It didn't really do the things that I wanted to do. And it's been a long time in me moving the vault to a new platform, to a new venue. And so that brings me to my second announcement, or the second thing I want to talk about, is that on July 1st, just about 2 weeks from now, I'm going to re-kick off, or I guess a new grand opening of my membership program, but I've changed the name. The full name is Danovi's Nexus of Transformation, but I'm just going to refer to it as the Nexus membership. But I have to say I'm really excited about this new reincarnation. And I'll call it a reincarnation because whatever it was in the past is going to be completely new. They're still going to have access to the different courses that I have, some hypnotic audios, but there's going to be a couple different tiers. One, right now, there's still room to sign up as a founding member. And whatever your membership is at the time when you sign up, that fee will never change. As long as you're a member of the vault, it will never go up. And then a month ago, someone contacted me and asked if I could provide regular hypnotic audios, meditation audios. And I thought, what a great idea for a membership. And so it was relatively inexpensive, and I had a couple people sign up. But I didn't really like the format after I began thinking about it. It didn't really provide enough training on how to really access these trance states. And so that has now become the entry level into the membership program, into the Nexus membership. I'm evolving it to go beyond just hypnotic audios to be a complete course in subconscious mind power. But I don't want to bore you with too much of the details. Right now, I just want to tell you that I'm rebooting my membership program, and it will officially kick off on July 1st. You'll be able to gain access before that. Exactly how, or I don't know how that looks like because I haven't actually set it up. I'm in the process of putting everything together. And so I know I will be totally complete by July 1st. So if you're interested in the Nexus membership, go to yesdaniel.com and click the link, and I'll set something up where you can at least put your email in to be notified when it goes live. So this shift in energy, I've been feeling it for a while, and it's been coalescing, and it seems to have been coming to a head. Last week, I decided I was going to do a group program, a group coaching program around manifesting, being a badass manifester. That group program is going to kick off July 5th. I had an initial sign up, and there'll be another opportunity to sign up this week and next. But I will guide you step by step over a 5-week period on how to get clarity, how to set up your energy, how to shift your beliefs, how to create alignment between where you want to be and how you're being in the world. Literally becoming and being a badass manifester. I'm excited about this process. I'm excited about the membership because there's a lot of energy that I'm bringing to it. It's just, I realize that I've been sitting back, I guess, comfortable. I've been comfortable. And so I need to unleash myself. And this was really brought to my awareness a couple days ago in the Aligned Self Podcast listeners group. Somebody asked me to talk about confidence and what techniques, what things have I done to create a sense of confidence in myself. Because, when I was younger, I was shy. I was self-conscious. I can't even say the word anymore. But yeah, I was self-conscious. I was too aware of the impact or how I was being perceived by other people, and I got in the way. And then I would feel anxiety and fear, and I thought that was something wrong with me. Over the years, I've actually developed confidence as a muscle. But in that question, it brought to my awareness, what have I done lately? Because an aspect of confidence is also courage. So there's 3 C's: confidence, courage, and competence. And so I've made a point to becoming very competent in what I do. And as a natural course of putting myself out there, I've gained confidence and utilized courage. But I haven't really stepped out of my comfort zone to a large degree in a while. And in reflecting over that and reflecting, doing the podcast on it, and it'll probably come out in a day or two on confidence. But in reflecting, I myself, have I been congruent in being courageous out in the world? Have I really been stretching my comfort zone? Or have I been playing in familiar territory? The answer, I've been somewhat playing it safe. And so 2023, from the next 6 months, and it's interesting that this is all occurring in July. It's right in the midway of the year, 6 months in. Well, there's 6 months left. So you can reflect back on how have you done over the first 6 months of the year. Have you actually fulfilled on the intentions, manifested the things that you wanted to manifest back at New Year's? Or has it kind of been business as usual? Well, this group coaching program, which is available as a one-time investment, or you can actually join the membership, join the Nexus membership, and it is a natural aspect or natural opportunity to participate in the group coaching program. But this program, the coaching program, the Being a Badass Manifester, comes at the most appropriate time for you to make an impact on the second half of the year and beyond. But wait, there's more. Of course, there's going to be a lot more over the year. There's going to be live. I'm going to show up a lot more live week to week inside the membership. There's an opportunity, this new platform for me to do live video, to do Q&A, it'll be like a wall. It's not going to be on Facebook. It's on a completely different platform. I've really disliked the limitations of Facebook and some of these other platforms. And get this, there's an app too. You can actually view it on your phone. In addition to the manifesting small group coaching, I'm also going to lead people through the process of subpersonalities beginning late August. And that will probably go on for 6 to 7 weeks, where you actually can identify your subpersonalities. It's a lot more self-directed than the case studies that I've been doing. I've been working with people intimately one-on-one. And, I've interviewed people. We go back over your history. But inside the Nexus membership, you can actually go through the subpersonality program is part of a group, and there'll be weekly calls, and you can ask questions, and I'll guide you through the whole process. And of course, this is all a setup. It's a transformation between the case studies, the group program, and the final book, which will be like a workbook. But again, I don't want to overwhelm you with all the different things that are going to be going on inside the membership. I'm just so excited to actually start showing up with a completely different energy and completely different intention around creating community. Because it's not just about the training, it's also about having, rubbing shoulders with other kindred spirits, being able to talk with me, ask me questions on an ongoing basis, over and above the podcast. Now, if you've enjoyed the podcast, it's going to be that and 10 times better inside the membership. But like I said, the big thing about this is community. My last name, Denovi, means of the new community, of the new city, of the new village. And so it seems very appropriate that I be at the forefront of creating a community. And it's a community that's invested in preparing yourself for the shift in consciousness. You've heard me say that the name of the membership is the Nexus membership. Now, the word Nexus actually means connection, connector, bridge, gateway. And so this is a place for us to all come together and be in community. It's a nexus or a hub of transformation. So, my friend, hopefully you're prepared, because over the next few days and months, I'm going to be talking a lot more about the community, about the exciting things that I'm putting out in the world. And one of my clients that took part in the subpersonality case study, she said to me after one of our sessions, she says, "Daniel, I'm really irritated with you." I said, "Oh, what's going on?" She asked me, "Why am I not out there more?" She said, "Why are you hiding?" She said, "There's other people out there that are commanding the space, commanding attention, that don't have a fraction of the training, a fraction of the wisdom that you have." And I said, "Wow, I thought I was putting myself out there, but I guess I'm not really." My wife has kind of been bugging me and saying that I'm not that good of a marketer. And here Anita is raking me over the coals saying I'm not doing enough to put myself out there. And so I had the realization that my wife has been right. Yep, my wife has been right. And so this is part of me being more courageous, more putting myself out there more. So I guess I need to do some of the videos, do the TikToks, actually do more YouTube. And I'm just going to be everywhere as I can be. I'm going to seek out some other podcasts to be a guest on. And if any of you all listen to other podcasts, I can't believe that you would listen to another podcast besides mine, but if you listen to another podcast that I would be a good fit for as a guest, let me know what it is, and make sure it's one of those podcasts that actually does interviews. Now, I've yet to do an interview on this podcast. I imagine down the road I will. It's just that I feel that I have so much to talk about, I don't even know how I'd fit somebody else in. But perhaps I could even do a second podcast. Well, another thing on the to-do list. But if you have anyone to recommend, any podcast to recommend, any places that I could speak at, feel free to let me know and I'll check it out. And I have to admit, as I say all that, and Megan, this will appease you as far as the confidence question, as I say all that, it scares me a little, which is a good thing because it's getting me out of my comfort zone. A reminder, the art of living dangerously, from my point of view, is pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone, learning to feel comfortable, feeling a little uncomfortable. And so embracing the energy, embracing the shift, and talking about all, what I've been initiating or going to be initiating, or as I'm initiating it, it's a stretch. And I welcome the stretch because that's all part of growth. It's all part of expansion, right? Right? Of course. And in just the reflection, it's, all these things, this is how the universe works in our behalf. Anita telling me that I'm not putting myself out there to the degree that I could or should. And then Megan asking me the question about confidence and courage, and me realizing that maybe I'm not been as courageous as I could be, at least not for a while now. But these promptings, these little nudges, these little urgings, is the universe guiding me in a direction. And if I put my foot down, if I drag my feet, then I'm going to fall down. So I guess the only thing I can do is get up to speed and start running. Well, until next time, this is your friend and host, Daniel Danovi, urging you to follow your bliss. Live your life from inner signals. Be inner directed as you engage in the epic adventure.